Our next guest says the market has gotten its three big wishes, namely a conclusive election, effective vaccine, and fiscal stimulus, but that executing those issues will be tough for ideas on where the markets go from here. We're joined now on the Squawk Newsline by Amy Wu Silverman, head of derivative strategy at RBC Capital Markets. I don't know. I don't know what you mean by execution is going to be tough, because the conclusive election, we might have that in the executive branch, but we're still waiting on Georgia, Amy. So, and that's the big that's the big deal, the big final part of the puzzle that we need before we can make any real definitive decisions, right?
Yeah. Good morning, Joe. Look, fair enough. As it relates to the elections, when we polled institutional investors up a couple months ago, obviously the presidential election was what was front and center on their mind. But obviously, Georgia is now what's front and center on a lot of people's minds. When we look at this from the options perspective, what the actual options market is pricing, it's not pricing it as a tail event, meaning, the Democrats sweep here. However, obviously, if that does happen, that's obviously underpriced going into this Georgia runoff. But even still, I think that we're sort of in this period where it's all about logistics and execution. So how we administer the vaccine, the fact that there are these variant strains, people have been pretty good about looking through a lot of this. And I think that's becoming a little tricky as the headlines keep going, and you start to see that tick up in the nervousness in the options market. You start to see people start to think a little bit about what hedges that they are deploying right now.
We've got a sort of a intersection of Christmas travel and, people from different parts of the country visiting families and people getting together with the vaccine being rolled out, whether it's being rolled out as smoothly as possible or not. So you've sort of got those two issues juxtaposed, because there could be, like there was after Thanksgiving, there could be an increase in cases again based on what we just saw in the malls. I heard that the malls, Amy, was like, there was no COVID in a lot of places. So we'll see, which I hope the vaccine rollout wins over this latest worry about another wave. But as you say, it's the execution. We just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And, one trend that we look at here was, it was interesting to us because retail has been such a large part in 2020 of what the derivatives market was showing in terms of a complete sea change and how they've been reacting to all of this. Obviously, when the pandemic started, you had people getting on their phones for the first time on Robinhood trading options. It was really just unbelievable to see. And we were curious if we'd see that going into the holiday season. We actually haven't, Joe, seen a pickup in the kind of options trading volumes that we saw in August and back in November. But obviously now we're talking potentially another $2,000 in stimulus, at least $600 here. And, for our markets, this has been a real sea change in how direct investing has just completely disrupted sort of a market that's been relatively niche in terms of who trades in it. It's obviously more institutional, but that really has been impacting the market through how it impacts the mega cap tech stocks and now even the stocks that are really related to vaccine recovery.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.